DVD locations.
Good evening, I'm Bill Hader, and thanks for joining me for another story about vampires. When you think about actors who made a big impact in classic horror films, a few names come to mind. Lon Chaney, Bela Lugosi, and the star of our next movie, Boris Karloff. And one of the best producers of horror movies was Val Lewton. Up next, we have a movie that teams both Karloff and Lewton. It's Isle of the Dead, released by RKO Studios in 1945 and directed by Lewton protege Mark Robeson. This film was the second of 3 movies Karloff made for Lewton at RKO, in between The Body Snatcher and Bedlam. And unlike the Universal horror films for which he became famous, Frankenstein and the Mummy, Karloff is not in disguise or heavy makeup. You see him as Boris Karloff, the actor, not Boris Karloff, the movie monster. In Isle of the Dead, Val Lewton pairs vampires and Greek tragedy, a perfect fit for the RKO producer and his obsession with death. This film is about a fatal plague that slowly turns people mad. The story takes place on a Greek island during an unnamed war of 1912. Karloff is a Greek general known as a pragmatist and a believer of science and medicine, not witchcraft and prayer. But when he goes to an isle to visit his deceased wife's tomb, things begin to change. Her grave has been disturbed and evil is in the air. The question becomes, can the general stay out of danger, or will the evil overcome him as well? From RKO and Val Lewton in 1945, here's Boris Karloff and one of his lesser known but still really interesting films, Isle of the Dead.